You know, it helps if I unmute the fucking microphone. Oy. Well, I just made a huge announcement that I'll come back to later. Sheba is on, so going to admit her, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome, Sheba, Queen of the Night, who is sideways. You're sideways.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
There we go.
hi.
Hi.
Hello.
I just did a whole intro while my mic was muted, so we're batting 1,000 today. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you doing, Roger?
I am fantastic, or as fantastic as can be.
Yay.
And if I keep saying that bullshit, eventually I'll believe it. You know what I mean? So for anybody who's not aware and hasn't seen you the last time you were here, Sheba, Queen of the Night. She is a sex coach, a burlesque performer, a little bit of this, a lot of that, and everything in between, right?
Yeah, I'm a mixed bag. I do all kinds of things.
Jack or Jane, Jill of all trades, as it were.
Jill. I think it's Jill. Yeah.
Jill or Jane? I mean, Jill of all trades. Yeah, yeah, because you're Jack. Cause you're Jill. Okay, yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah, I'm a burlesque performer. I am a burlesque producer. I'm a pinup model, and I am a sex coach and sex educator.
So now, sex coach. All what I'm thinking is like, a t-shirt and shorts, a hat, a whistle on the side of somebody's bed, like yelling at them, "You're not fucking doing it right."
If that is what it takes, that I'm all for it. But no, it's different than that. It's so funny because since I've been doing sex coaching, it's funny to see like what response I get from it. Like I think a lot of people go to sex surrogates, where someone is there with you while you have sex, and that is not the case.
Okay.
It's very much like talk therapy. It's someone who is just like you said, without a whistle. I need a whistle, I now realize, of course.
Go for
it. I mean, who doesn't need a beautiful gold whistle? But
absolutely.
No, I'm there to help people and to talk about their concerns, questions, their curiosities, their kinks, anything that they want to talk about. There's so much that can come up around sex. So there's lots to, everybody has their things they want to focus on, but I'm kind of a coach for them and helping them get strategies and ideas and excitement. And some people want to reconnect in their current relationship, or some people are having issues within the dynamics of their relationship or need help with dating. And so there's just so many ways that you can get support around your sexuality.
Now, are you primarily dealing with individuals or couples, or both?
I work one-on-one with solo clients. I also work with couples, and I also am available for people who are in polydynamics, whether that's triads or groups or multiple partnerships. So it really just depends on the client and what their relationship dynamic is.
Okay, it's really cool. I mean, it's different.
Yeah.
But like I said, I still have the vision of the whistle and the hat. I don't know why I can't break that. Probably because I played football for so damn long. I'm like used to being yelled at.
I'm literally going to look into getting form for myself. It sounds super sexy, and I'm probably going to do a photo shoot in now.
Nice.
Total 70s style satin shorts.
Exactly.
Whistle, hat. It's happening. It's already happening.
I can't wait to see it.
Have you ever heard of sex coaches before, or have you?
I have and relationship counselors, but never as cool as you. It's always overly clinical and you know like the leather couch, and not the fun leather couch, but like the hard uncomfortable leather couch and taking notes and shit. That I've seen, but never somebody with an actual personality, which is
Yeah.
important.
Yeah, it's I've been doing it for a little over a year now. And I feel like it's my calling for sure. I did the play. I've performed in and produced and directed the play The Vagina Monologues by playwright Eve Ensler. Have you heard of it?
I am very familiar with it. Yes.
Yeah, so I first started doing that, and it was like very much when you're in that production, you are like in this close group dynamic with other women. And we just kind of it wasn't necessarily like group therapy, but we talked a lot about the the play. It raises money for organizations that stop violence against women, and so it basically creates this platform for activism around domestic violence, sexual assault, anything around sexual violence. But it also, the play deals with sexuality in general, and talks about menopause, and talks about orgasms and squirting, and just like so many things that it ends up being like this this amazing transformative space, not just a regular
Not just a show. It's
yeah,
more
not
to it. There's
yeah, not like Fiddler on the Roof. It's different kind of fiddling, maybe.
All right, all right, I'll take it. Um,
But
there's
so I
actually
started doing that, and that's what kind of led me to going like, maybe there's something there.
well, I had in mind there was a production in New York. Shit, I think it started in maybe the late '90s, early 2000s, possibly. Called My First Time, and
Ooh,
I was thinking about looking into doing a production of it, and you
yeah,
were one of the people I had in mind. And what it is it's stories that were compiled. This was in the earlier days of the internet.
okay,
This guy put out like started a web page, whatever. Anonymously submit your story of your first time, no matter how pleasurable, painful, crazy, weird, whatever. Tell me your stories. And he ended up putting it into this show where just like the vagina monologues, it's a show essentially of monologues. No, they're not acting
yeah,
out. They're not acting out the first time. Although I think a couple of them had dialogue between a male and a female, or male and a male. It
mhm.
was everything, a little bit of everything, but it was essentially monologues. And I've always had it in my head to put that production together. And I
Let's
start
do it. Let's
we'll
do it.
we'll talk. I talked to a couple other friends who really weren't particularly comfortable with it, but both of them said, "Fucking ask Sheba."
Yeah.
Like shit.
Oh, love that. I love that. Yes. I am
So
100% interested. I mean, that's it's like what the play really showed me was that these are the kind of conversations that people aren't really having, like that we
but
aren't
should.
talking about, but we should. And so it really kind of encourages that type of dialogue about just talking about our experiences. And that's one of the things that I definitely recommend to my clients is like opening up and kind of talking about these things. And like, I am not a licensed therapist. I am working towards my certification as a somatic sexologist, but I am, I'm just a coach. I'm someone who, just like a life coach, can kind of be that person to hold space around these issues. And so, if everybody kind of comes equipped with, different dynamics around their sexuality, like trauma and, previous experiences from childhood, and just everybody has their own, makeup based on their own experiences. And so if it's anything outside of my wheelhouse, like I reference out to amazing sex therapists that I know in the area, but I am here to kind of like guide and coach and give ideas. And, it's the most meaningful work. I love what I do. And it's, it was that play that really kind of opened me up. I was the moaner a couple
Okay.
times. And that is, I wish you could have come and seen the St. Pete production. We did it this last year, like literally right before
Oh
COVID,
shit.
like days before shelter in place. And we were just like dodged a bullet. And actually we're able to do it. We did it at Nova 535 in downtown St. Pete.
Okay.
And it was an amazing production, and so many Natasha Samreni, she's a
I know
local
her. She
comedian.
she's my fellow Lebanese countryman.
Yeah, and just so many Ariel Azul. There's just like so many local performers who were a part of it, and it was really just amazing experience. But it's such a powerful production to be a part of, because so many people, not just people who come to this play, they're either coming because they want to donate money to the fiscal sponsor that you're raising money for, or they want to support the actors that are performing in it, but they end up like actually being moved by the play, and like it makes them realize things about themselves and experiences that they've had. And so I've actually had like audience members come up to me after the play and say like, well, that really
Wow.
made me think of things, and like made me remember experiences I had. And like, really, there's a character who is an older woman who has cancer and is dealing with never having sex after having one bad experience in her youth. And just like so many people have like these previous experiences around sex and their sexuality that kind of changes them, and the makeup of their life. And so it's just it's important to talk about. And I got to perform as the moaner, and she was a dominatrix sex worker who only has sex with women.
Okay.
And it's just like a beautiful role. And it talks a lot about just couple different kinks and really sexy things. And I remember I performed it, and I was like, this is me. She lives inside of me. Like, it was, I really related to the role and like wanted to keep performing it. And it was such a great experience. I hadn't done the play in like 10 years. And then
Wow.
this last year doing it, it was like just kind of being reminded about, that part of me that I really relate to and connect with. And so it was a great experience. And from that, I'm doing, now sex education around conscious kink. And I'm doing a workshop this Sunday called Get the Kinks Out.
Nice.
And yeah, and it's going to be a virtual classroom for this Austin-based kink education company called Kink Ed.
Nice.
And they're providing community workshops and events around kink and sexuality, and just offering all kinds of different classes. So you can check them out online, and I'll share the link with you. But it's going to be this Sunday, and it's a class around exploring your fetishes and kinks and curiosities, and finding healing through performance art. And so This is the first class that I've done of it, and so I'm excited to share that.
Nice. Now with you know workshops like this, especially for somebody who's just coming into it and exploring what's out there as far as education and working with a sex coach, it would almost seem to me like the common thread is people don't want to feel weird about what they want. And that's the
Yeah.
thing. Like, I don't, I'm afraid to tell my partner this or ask for this
Yeah.
because I don't want them to think I'm fucking weird.
Yeah. And that's my jam.
Weird is what we do.
That is my jam. I am like a cheerleader for, get that freak flag high in the sky and, experience whatever it is that you are drawn to and explore it. And I was just saying to someone, like treat it like a Sizzler salad bar, like just try some things. And
Now, hang on. There may be people in the audience that are too young to remember
oh,
Sizzler. All right.
who doesn't know Sizzler?
It's not, is it, are there even any open anymore? Like, I
I don't
can't
know.
remember.
On the West Coast, so we had Sizzlers. I don't know
Okay.
what's the East Coast version of
Well,
Sizzler.
we had Sizzler. Like, it's probably been an easy 25 years since I've seen one. And where I grew up on Long Island in New York. So, we had Sizzler. There were a couple of them, but they closed down like so long ago. I didn't even know Sizzler still existed.
Yeah.
It was Sizzler. There was Ponderosa, which sucked, which was kind of like Sizzler with the salad bar and everything.
Yeah, but so you can kind of choose some things that you want to try and give them a go, and then once you're experiencing them, if it's something that calls to you and you enjoy, then you keep it in your repertoire. And if it's not for you, if you're like I wasn't really that into that, you put it back. So like I just really encourage people to experience or to bring in the energy of play into sex, and to be just open and explorative, and treat it like it's something fun, something that you enjoy. And I think a lot of people have a lot of fears and a lot of insecurities and a lot of
They don't want to feel weird, they don't want to feel dirty, they don't want
to shame, sexual shame, for sure. And so it's that's what I love to do, is I love to just tell people that whatever it is that they're interested in is something that's totally normal and healthy, and then give them encouragement on how to explore them.
nice, make them feel comfortable.
Yeah.
You got to tell them you got to learn to be a trisexual. If it's sexual, try it.
Exactly, a trisexual. Oh my god, that's a t-shirt.
There you go.
But I think that there's a lot of different things. It doesn't even have to be kinky, like that's something that I really enjoy. I was on the board of Folsom Street Fair. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
Folsom Street Fair is in San Francisco, and it happens every year. And it's basically like a street fair that celebrates the kink culture, and all the different communities under the spectrum of BDSM and kink are present and have a celebration around it. And it's very much like a weekend of sexual liberation. And like
cool.
that of San Francisco is they allow that to happen.
So now, true or false, it's only really kinky the first time.
False.
Okay.
False. No. No, it can continue to be kinky. It's about how you approach it.
Okay.
And it really depends on what kind of kink it is.
That's true.
Yeah. But I take a lot of classes. I growing up on the West Coast in the San Francisco Bay Area, we had Good Vibrations, and Good Vibrations is pretty much like Jack and Jill, I guess, here in the Tampa Bay. It's a sex shop, but it also promotes sex education and toys and is a good resource for, education and exploration. And so I would go to those classes that they had, or you can go in and talk to, they have sex educators on staff. And so those people are just always there for, people who are curious. They can just go in there and get information on,
So they're
some.
not just selling things, they're providing instruction and guidance and information. So that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and like the nicest people work at, I love going to Jack and Jill and talking with them, and they are, trained. Like Good Vibrations does a really amazing training so that they can give the best education to their clientele. And so they do workshops, and so you can, there's lots of sex shops and resources all over the country where you can do online workshops. And I think that's something that people forget, is that there's, if you're curious about something, you can, you can learn about it. You can go to a class and get more information about it. And
well, as far as that goes, going to a class, like I said, it's a common thread that people don't want to feel weird, or
yeah,
but the thing is, if you're seeking out the information, you're going to one of these classes, you're amongst like-minded people at that point. So
yeah,
there's no reason to not pursue that information, because let's face it, like I said, everybody's there for the same reason, so nobody's going to think you're weird going to it. So just fucking do it.
yeah. And people have different, it's not just, you know, uh, spanking classes. It's, intimacy building. It's how to talk to your partner. It's about, how to give manual stimulation or oral stimulation. Like there's so many different types of classes. It's like whatever it is that you're struggling with, there's sex educators out there who want to, help, or are there to offer feedback or, insight. And so I think it's just good for people to know that there's resources out there, and that there's people who are, there to help them in those situations.
And to, again, be comfortable, because you'll be essentially amongst friends. Unless you're
Yeah.
an asshole, don't be an asshole, but be amongst friends.
Yeah.
I have a problem with that all the time. Well, what's funny is I tell a joke on stage where I'm talking about going to a sex shop with my wife, and this is based on a true story. We had gone to an adult store. What?
Tell me the story.
Well, it was, she was worried and nervous about going in. She's like, well, what if I run into somebody I know? I'm like, well, I mean, they're there kind of for the same, maybe not the same thing you're there for, but the same general reason. Just don't judge what they're buying and try not to make any creepy ass eye contact. But then she said, what if I run into my parents in there? I'm thinking to myself, shit, my in-laws are cool. I said, again, don't judge them on what they're buying, but at that point, make the eye contact as uncomfortable as possible. What's funny is that actual adult store, it's a place in Farmingville, New York, called Expressions. There's a comedian named Chris Roach. He was on, he's friends with Kevin James. He was on Kevin James' last sitcom. Kevin, as he was coming up in comedy, worked at that store and actually got other employees to become stand-up comedians just by virtue of working in the store and hanging out together.
Oh my God.
So he used to be the manager of Expressions Adult Store in Farmingville, New York.
Talk about a good place to work on bits.
Exactly. So, and one of the girls that he ended up bringing into stand-up comedy is fucking hilarious. And I can't remember the name of the song. The name of it was like, why you gotta be so rude. It was like he's talking to the girl's father about proposing, and she ended up forming this bit with a ukulele singing a version of that song. Why don't you show me your butthole too? And it's fucking hilarious. And that's the thing about, you're working in that, and you can appreciate the filthy humor, which I am a huge fan of, because I'm a fucking filthy animal.
Right.
but it's cool that they came out of that, working in that store, and they all kind of stuck together as comedians. It's kind of cool.
Yeah,
Little side note.
I appreciate the filth. I think that it's, I don't know, there's something about just being able to put it all out there and say, what is, how you feel about things, just letting it go, letting that freak flag fly. That's one of the things that's kind of been a difficult thing about being a sex educator, is that the social media guidelines are changing, and
Yeah.
even being a performance and erotic artist, being a burlesque performer, you have to worry about censorship and
Well, hell,
about,
not even from just social media, but from everywhere. You got to worry about censorship in a sex related performance.
yeah. And so even like my Instagram is sex posy Sheba, but I changed the E to a 3 because I don't want my account taken down. And it's this is a new standards, but I'll post something, and it'll get flagged, and it's almost like a warning, that I
Yeah.
am
We
I'm
got flagged.
crossing the line.
We got flagged. I forget what bar it is. There's a bar in St. Pete that has a mural on the wall of women, naked women. I think that she was sitting on the beach or something. So you kind of like see the top of her butt, but it's a painting. It's a mural. And
Yeah.
I posted a picture of Stan Deo kissing the mural, kissing the woman's ass on the mural.
Right.
YouTube flagged it for sexual activity. Like, it's a fucking painting.
Yeah.
Like, even then, it's not like he's kissing a butt cheek, a painting butt cheek. That got flagged.
Yeah. Someone just posted about an advertisement where there was onions, and the onions were too sexy. And, Facebook, I think, made a public apology, or said, please forgive us, it's not people, it's robots. But then why are these robots?
A friend of mine kept getting a post flagged. It was a picture he took of the moon. I don't remember if it was rising or setting over a lake. Like, it was a picture of nature. There were no human beings in the picture. There were no animals discernible in the picture. It was a fucking tree, a lake, and the moon, and the light reflecting off the lake, flagged for sexual activity.
That is so strange. These robots are out of control. I think the problem is not, that we are too spicy. It's that these robots are a little prudish. We have prudish robots.
And I've violated numerous times where even if I appeal it, I still get banned.
Yeah.
Like, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, you're right. This doesn't it doesn't violate community standards. You still fucking banned, but we'll put the picture back up for you."
Yeah.
So I have a hate relationship with Facebook.
Yeah. Yeah, but we do the best that we can. There's a lot of sex educators, sex therapists, sex workers, people online who, they need to engage with their audience. They need to outreach to potential clients. They need to build fan base. They need to promote workshops. So it's like, these are tools and resources that we can use, to promote our educational materials, and we have to have that worried. And so that's just like been, one of the hurdles right now is, trying to not be too out there so that, you don't get your account removed.
It's like fighting an uphill battle.
Yeah.
There was something just something popped in my head that I was going to ask you, and then it escaped my head because I've been hit in the head too many times. So this thing you got on Sunday, is it something I got to buy a ticket for? Is it
Yes, it's on Eventbrite and the Kink Ed website. You can get tickets on there as well. I have a Facebook event, and I can share that with you also. And it's, I've done a couple performances. I should have shared one with you that we could have watched together
Seriously.
on this show. I know I'm slipping, but
That's
I've
right.
done
Today's been a shit show on my end. So
it is Tuesday.
yeah, but it feels like, well, I had a fucked up weekend. I decided last minute to go to Phoenix, Arizona. Well, I bought a car in Phoenix. So Saturday I flew out to Phoenix, jumped in the car, made the deal, jumped in the car and drove the car back here. And I got
How long
back yesterday
did it take?
morning.
How long
Well,
did it?
I forget what it was exactly on the road. I left, we'll keep it at Florida time. I left at 5 p.m. Saturday. I hit the road, stopped in El Paso at a hotel for a couple hours, and then
Wow.
hit the road and drove back. I got back 11 a.m. yesterday. So it feels like like a Monday, but
Yeah.
yeah, beautiful car that was totally worth the drive.
Good job.
But what the hell? What was it? There was something about that. Yeah, so my brain's been scrambled since yesterday. So even if you sent it to me today, I probably wouldn't even been able to get to it. And
That's okay. You're doing great.
thank you.
But the I've just performed in their last show. We did it on Valentine's Day. It was called Kinky Little Cupid, and so that was a weekend of performances by different types of erotic artists, from burlesque and drag to rope riggers, shibari artists.
Nice.
Have you ever seen like
Yes.
shibari?
Yep.
And
Boy
you know,
Scouts are good at that.
yeah, and demos where people are leading education around different types of play, and just lots of educational workshops and performances. And so they do that every year or every month, and then they just started doing these community events, and so I am one of their instructors.
Nice.
And so this is it's a virtual class, but for me, when I started performing burlesque, I was newly sober, and I've been, I'm 13 years sober, and
Good job.
I started to do a lot of acts around just different things that I was curious about, different themes, and I felt that it was a tool, like me being an artist and being able to express, things that I was feeling, or things that I, saw, or, themes that I was interested in. I would tie them into my acts, and I would create performance acts around these different topics. So I have one that I just performed on the Kinky Little Cupid, and it's a boot black. Do you know about boot black?
No.
So there's a boot black fetish where people it's not necessarily a sexual act, or it doesn't have to lead to a sexual act, but it's a fetish around polishing boots. And so
Okay.
if you have, you like to wear boots, and you like a nice shiny boot, then you might have a dynamic where another person role plays as your boot black, and they shine your boots for you, and then that itself is arousing to the other person. And so it's like a role play.
Okay.
And I have a theater background, and I come from, being a performer. And so I thought that was fascinating that people would get off on shining boots. Like, I think that's amazing. And so I did an act where I'm a boot black, and I'm shining boots. And then at the end, I, rub shoe polish all over my body.
I hope you get good shoe polish and not kiwi, because that smell never comes off.
Yeah, it is messy acts are always, there is a certain, there's a commitment, because there is
Yeah.
clean. But I thought, I personally wasn't into the fetish, but it was almost like an homage to the people who, were interested in it. And it's really exciting for me to act out something that someone is really into. And I think that there's something
Nice.
there. And I think that, with it being like a tool that, non-performers can utilize, people who, it's not like you're going to, set up a little stage in your bedroom and do a 3-act play for your partner, but like it's just
There
fun.
may be some people into that. Don't judge. Come on.
Definitely in New York, I'm sure. But it's like it's a game, it's a role playing game that you can play with your partner where you kind of dress up and act out different characters, or strip tease is something, as a burlesque performer, that's very, it's my life. I love to perform in that way, and it's a tool that people can learn. It's like a movement therapy and a sensual movement that they can tie into their their connecting with their partner in that way, and kind of doing fun little dances for each other.
That's nice. I think the last time I saw you perform was around Halloween. It was a show. It was you, Lee LaBelle.
Yeah, that was the time we were on the show.
Yeah, you started out as what, Darth Vader, right?
Was
Vader? Yes.
Underneath my Darth Vader costume, I was the devil.
Yep. Okay. See, I do kind of remember things.
Yeah, that was Coast to Coast Cabaret. It was the virtual show that I was producing.
That was a good one.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. Was and like there's another example of how performance art can be healing. I mean, I think a lot of artists, they channel their emotions or process emotions through creating their art, and I think that that's one of the things that I saw, from the pandemic, is people kind of using their art as a way to express what they were feeling or to go through what they were experiencing. And I know that, performance art keeps me sane.
It's for a lot of people, trust me.
And
including us that tell dick jokes. Dick jokes are therapeutic.
Is it cathartic for you as a comedian?
It can be. If the audience is right, and that especially with my style and the way I am, if I have a flat audience or an empty room, like, no good. I need people, because I feed off of that energy, and that energy is like the greatest fucking drug in the world, and I've tried most of them. That crowd being with you and laughing and having a good time, that is one of the best highs I've ever experienced in my life, hands down.
Tell me the most intimate thing that you've ever shared to your audience in a joke. Like, have you ever actually worked a bit around something that was going on in your life?
A lot of my comedy is based on what goes on in my life, but the problem with going too intimate is usually once you start going there, it stops being funny, and it's really hard to make, especially the really legit difficult things in your life. It's really hard to truly put a comical spin on it. Some people have been successful at that. Rodney Dangerfield, I'm sure you've heard the name. Rodney's whole thing about not getting respect and my wife is cheating on me and this and that, none of that was true, or most of that was not true. But I think to some level there either was something going on, or just the fear of something going on, and coping with that fear of the potential issue, and making the jokes of it. And I mean, he was just brilliant at what he did, and was absolutely beloved. The man got respect, even though he said he didn't. But to me, I try to keep most of what I do fairly on the lighter side. I don't try to get too deep or too dark, mainly because I don't want to. Once you start going down that road, you'll divide an audience. Half the room will be with you, half the room won't really be there. It's another reason why I don't go into politics in comedy, right? Because you're gonna divide the room.
Yeah, and that's the other a good example is just like SNL and how they do the parodies around politics, especially during election. Like, that's a great example of getting through something by using comedy to kind of lighten the load.
Exactly. But the thing is, you got to be really, really careful, lest you get pigeonholed to one side or the other. And most of what I do appeals to both sides, I try to stay away from the politics unless it's something everybody will find amusing. Otherwise, it's just not worth it. To divide the audience or be pegged to one side or the other, you lose half your fan base. So I'd rather not go there. My own opinions and feelings on those issues are my own. I don't need to share them with them. Religion and politics are like having a dick. It's great to have one. It's great to be proud of it, but don't shove it down someone else's throat unless you have consent. So that's the way I look at it. And
Yeah.
I have some good friends that are hardcore to each side, and doing a show with them, especially if I'm coming in as a guest where it's mostly their audience, it can get a little, touchy trying to play those games, especially if they're not on the same side as you, because God forbid two people have opposing views and actually get along, because you can't have that shit.
Yeah. One of the acts that I did, one of the last performances, was at the Vagina Monologues after party that we did at Nova. And I have an act that I created that is an homage to the Vagina Monologues, and
Okay.
it is a vagina act. And it's basically about just expressing myself and how there are people in politics who want to control women's bodies and want to have a say in, reproductive rights, or, it's a very feminist piece, and it's something that, it's not just a light striptease to me. It's like it has a message, and I think that doing art that has a message is also really important to put out, what your views are through your art, and it's a way to express how you're feeling about certain things that are happening around you. I've done a couple acts like that where they were really really deep into what I was feeling. Like, I remember in Oakland, that's, I'm from the San Francisco Bay Area, the riots were happening, and it was around the what was it? It was the
was it the early 90s?
It was the 1%,
The Occupy movement.
Yeah, the Occupy movement and the protests were happening, and it gets really active in Oakland. They're a very activist driven liberal area, and so people show up, and there was a lot of people that were going out and just peaceful protesting and being tear gassed, and it was they were being treated with violence even though they were anti-violent. And so I remember I did an act around that, and I had a smoke machine, and just kind of express what it's like when your government responds in that way, and like how it's almost like processing what it is that's happening around you. And so I find that my art, to be able to do performance art around the things that I'm experiencing, is extremely helpful and healing. And so that's something that I want to give to other people. And whether they're performers or not, like, it's a good tool for people to be able to act out. And people do that also in role playing in other types of therapy. And so it's just a good tool, and it'll be a very light workshop around, kind of some fun themes. And it's just another reason to kind of encourage people to just like talk about what different things that they're interested in or curious about. It just kind of opens up the space for people to express themselves, and for them to have a safe place that they can come, where there's no judgment, and they can talk about, sex.
And that goes back to what I said earlier, where people they're afraid of feeling weird or
Yeah.
just go. That's why these places exist. That's why these things exist. Go do it. Check it out. The best part about this is you're taking away like one of the biggest obstacles, in that people don't have to go and see face to face or physically be in an uncomfortable environment or an unfamiliar environment. You can attend this in the comfort of your own home with no pants on. Just keep the camera up here, people. Don't be savages.
Yeah. And one of the good things about, Kink Ed is they have, a short video that you can watch that talks about consent. And, a lot of people don't know about some of the language that is used around classes like this, about consent, about boundaries, about etiquette of communication. And it's just like, you can get so much out of being in these workshops. You can just learn different ways of speaking and different ways of interacting with your partner as well, or partners, because anybody can go to these workshops. You don't have to be a couple. You can just go by yourself and learn different things that you want to work into your repertoire.
Now, because I am a giant asshole.
Yeah.
I in your course of doing the sex coaching and the education, have you ever encountered somebody that there's like just no hope for? Like, no matter how hard you try, guy, you're done. It's not going to work for you. No, there's hope for everyone.
Hope for everybody.
Good. I like that.
As if everybody, or if anybody has the willingness to reach out and ask for help or guidance, like, I think that right there is, an opportunity for growth.
All right. That makes sense. It's the guy in his basement that thinks he knows everything because he fucking watches Pornhub 24/7. That guy, there's no hope for, but he's not even relevant at this point. Oh Lord. I'm like, my brain works like there's always that one fucking person. Just always one person. Like in an audience, you could be cracking an audience out. There's always one asshole, and he's always in the front fucking row, just sitting there like this, not laughing, just. And then he gets pissed off when you pick on him and be like, "Hey, what's the matter? It's a joke, not a dick. Don't take it so hard. Come on, guy."
Well, I mean, there's also there's different people that have different ways of identifying themselves, and there are people out there who are asexual and they also have a voice.
True.
I'm always really open to hearing everybody's perspectives on what intimacy and connection look like to them, and what it is like. If sex is not something that you're looking for, but you still want partnership and connection and intimacy, that's okay too. Like, everybody has the right to want what they want, and to a relationship dynamic that they want. I think that that's one of the things that I really enjoy, is just the encouragement that you can have the dating dynamic or relationship structure that you want. Like, it doesn't have to look like this societal structure that we have been raised with. But if that is what you want, that's okay too. It's just kind of like giving this openness and exploration to what it is that feels right for you.
And that's important, and very important, that it feels, that you can make something feel right as you're stepping into those uncomfortable, if you will, territories.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Time is it? So is there anything else you want to add? Anything else that you need to let the people know of?
I am doing, I'm going to be doing more workshops and classes. So you can definitely follow me on my socials so that you can learn about my upcoming workshops. And I also am doing a case study right now. And so if anybody wants to be a part of exploring what sex coaching is like, they can reach out to me and I can give them an intake form and give them more information on what it's like to work with a sex coach.
So your socials are, say them out and then we'll put them up.
Okay, you can find me on my link tree, which is Sheba QOTN, standing for Queen of the Night. And on there is all of my IGs, my Facebook, my YouTube, my OnlyFans, my Patreon, my website, several ways that you can connect and communicate with me. So I will share it with you.
Awesome. So everybody, I encourage you, Roger approved. Go check it out. Follow her and go to this thing on Sunday.
Yeah,
Learn shit. Learn shit.
come. And I still am performing and modeling. So you can also, follow me on my socials and stay tuned for more opportunities to see you perform.
Now, is there any hope for performing live again for any of us?
I'm hoping. I definitely have some, I want to perform again. I'm still in the mindset of, I want to do it when it's safe. And, I'm not in any rush to go out there until, it's kind of a different world. The pandemic's real. I don't want to get sick, and I do virtual shows, and I'm very comfortable doing that for right now.
Good. All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, thank you
as
so much.
always. Good time. Don't be a stranger. And I started making the announcement that the show's going to be going on hiatus, but this episode will stay up and perpetually, so people can still check it out. But get me those links and stuff. I'll put those up, and be awesome. It was awesome having you on. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I don't know if I got the video from last time, but if you can share them with me, the recordings, because I would love to put them as well.
Yeah, they are still up on YouTube. I'll grab that link and send it to you.
Awesome. Can you send me the file so that I can upload it?
I can. Yeah, I think I can download the full file. If I can, I have the audio file. I got to see if I can do because it streams live through YouTube, so I don't have like a physical recording of it. But I'm pretty sure I can download from my YouTube account.
Audio or video?
Okie dokie.
All right, thank you. And why is the show going on? It's just taking a hiatus temporarily, yeah?
Yeah, Nicole's got a whole bunch of stuff going on. I have a whole bunch of stuff going on, projects, day job, family, that stuff. And it's just it's been kind of a pain in the ass. We haven't been giving it the love and attention it's truly deserved. So we're gonna take a break and regroup. So
well, I'm so happy to be your last interview for a while.
I'm happy to have you as my last interview for a while. If you're going to go out, may as well go out in style.
Yeah. Thanks, Roger. Have a wonderful evening. And
you too.
Soon.
Yes. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, folks. So that was Sheba, Queen of the Night. So the announcement for the night is, which I started doing at the beginning of the show, but I was muted. We're going to be going on hiatus. It'll be the last show for a while. All the old shows are going to stay up. I'll still be active, or as active as I usually am on social media. But you can still follow us, check us out. We'll be back at some point. Like I said, we got a lot of things going on. I'm trying to really focus a lot of attention on the cooking show, Sugar, Salt, Fat, and Booze. Follow that. So, and there's another project I'm working on, which involved me driving back from Phoenix, Arizona this past weekend, which was a good time. And I'm going to do a video on my personal Roger Nelson channel about that whole thing and introduce you to that. So that's what's been going on. So we're going to be taking a break, but again, watch the old shows, keep on loving that, support local art, support local artists. That's it. So I am going to be taking a break now. So I appreciate you guys watching. I'm going to sign it off. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for all the years of support, and we'll get back together soon. Don't forget to spay or neuter your children.